The real estate market, a lot of it is mostly it's education, and you have to take educated risks.
In this episode of the Prime People Podcast, we have award-winning, straight from Hollywood, Mr. Marshall Kaplan himself, breaking down everything agents are doing wrong when it comes to video. He talks about the current landscape of social media versus traditional media. He talks about how you can be really effective in your communication. He also digs into building a real estate portfolio and many intersections of both real estate and media. One of my favorite people after I got to spend hours and hours and hours watching him in action. I learned an absolute boatload, and I hope you do too. As always, the show is sponsored by the Prime Real Estate Group of companies. Whether you're looking to do residential, commercial, investment, or agricultural real estate, we have an expert for that. Just connect with us. And if you're looking for an agent anywhere in North America, we have one of the best networks on the planet. We would love to show you the type of people that we know, similar to Marshall Kaplan. But let's get right into the episode. I really think you're going to enjoy what he is about to teach you.
Okay, so the editor to me is the most powerful person when making a film or television, because they can take someone like Justin and make him look good. And that's a lot of work.
I knew that was
Yeah. And then you have the realtors come out and they go, "Welcome to 123 Willow Way. Let me show you this amazing house." And then you go, you never see this realtor again. It's like, that's all you do? You come out and do an intro to the house? I would rather see the realtor inside the house showing me that they know their stuff.
Yeah. It actually matters more to me to be seen as an operator or a black belt at my actual craft than it does how many followers
It would suit you better to do that, because every realtor now is just about their brand and not about their knowledge.
For sure.
I think money makes you more of who you were.
Yeah.
If you're a selfish person, you fall into a lot of money, you become more selfish with the money. Everybody is a filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody and their mother and their mother's brother and their mother's uncle know how to make movies.
Do they though?
They think they do.
They think they do.
Because they have a phone.
They're saying everybody thinks that, you know, they're a director. Everybody thinks, I have real estate agents sometimes too, right? The amount of people that have sold data online or
they think they're an investor because they got lucky once.
100%.
No, I think people invest. They buy a house or they bought an investment property and made some money, and then they go and they invest some more because they know they're an expert now.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the real estate market, a lot of it is mostly it's education, and you have to take educated risks. Yeah, anyways, that drives me nuts. People who think they know how to make movies and drive me nuts because they have a phone or make a TV show. People don't want to spend the time anymore and educate themselves or learn, or, you know, I don't know. They just...
Why do you feel like they need to do that? Why do you think? Because
I'm an old fart. Because... No, what, to educate themselves?
Well, why do you think people feel like they have the need to make movies and direct
because that's what they promote, the products. Like, you didn't have a phone that has a video in here if you weren't going to make a movie. You don't have iMovie or iApp or iThis or iTV or anything. Like, they're promoting you to do your own reels, your own little shorts, your own nonsense. If they didn't want you to record movies, you wouldn't record movies. And then you're saying it to social media, and then you see what other people are doing, you realize yours is lousy, so you want to fix yours, and you want to do a better job making your movie. So that's why.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I think people think, in my business, definitely people think that they have to create because they see their competition doing it. If they don't do it, they're going to miss out on opportunities. So everybody feels like they have to be an influencer. But I think there's a big difference between people who are influential, and a lot of influential people I know are not influencers. A lot of influencers I know are just influential.
So the term influencer, when you said it, I vomited in my mouth and then I swallowed the vomit because influencers drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. Influential people are not influencers because they don't need to be.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to be rich and famous.
People should just without any expertise.
100%.
And the other thing too about everyone, it makes movies or TVs or shoots video on their phone because everything feeds into the machine, right?
Yeah.
Like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, they only survive by content and people constantly posting content.
Yeah.
So they make these things, even when you go to export it, and are you exporting it for TikTok? Are you exporting it for Instagram? They're telling you because they want you to start posting it.
Platform specific, and the platforms want to hold you hostage.
Yes.
Right? They want to get you on their platform, created natively on their platform. Instagram launched on their edits tool. TikTok owns CapCut, and they actually are trying to get people into that space where they're creating on their platform for their platform only.
This is nice. Where are we? What is this?
The Square.
The Square of what?
The Square of Godrich.
Oh, I've never been to the square of Goderich.
You're gonna see Goddard's. We're gonna grab a coffee.
Yes.
I'm gonna drive around the square. I'm gonna take you to one of my favorite views. We're gonna jump outside, drink our coffee, overlooking a salt mine, one of the most picturesque.
How much is it? Do I have to pay for the tour? Is it free? Is it?
Go to the car.
Are you sure? Because I brought my wallet. First of all, the coffee's very good, so I'm happy you brought me here.
Yeah.
And it was also good enough to pay, so that was good.
Yeah, and I think Kate's an example of one reason why I wanted to bring you on the show.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know how you got your start in directing.
Slept with Harvey Weinstein. And that was just to get a job as a low-level production assistant. You want to know the truth? The truth is Harvey Weinstein. The truth is I'm a big believer in manifestation. I'm a big believer in energy. And if you put something out there, something else happens. I think hard work is also something you have to do. The truth is this. Truth is, I was in advertising for 20 years. And when I turned 40, I wanted to get out of the industry. Yeah. And I said to my wife, I want to do something else. She goes, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go into television. She goes, okay, so go into television. She goes, you did well in advertising. I'm sure you'll do well in this, because I worked my ass off. Anyways, I write lists literally every Sunday night. I write a list, and there's a list of what to do personal, from clean out the eaves troughs to do this. One of them was, I wanted to go into TV, and there was this host of a show, and I thought I came up with an idea of a show, even though I was never in TV, and I said, meet this guy. I wrote his name down, meet this guy. So I was still in advertising, I was in downtown, and the meeting was canceled, and I got downtown. I was like, oh shit. So I went to Yorkville, and who's filming in Yorkville is the guy on my list. So I went up to him. I waited for them to take a break and film. I said, listen, you're on my list. I have it right here, and I showed it to meet you. We met. The show he was on ended up having an opening for a story producer, and that was my first job.
Were you a story producer at that time, or
No.
was it the first opening?
No, my job was very simple. Like, my job, I was 41 years old. I went in and I said, listen, I don't know anything about television, except that I watch it. I know what I like, and I've been in the industry. I've been in advertising for 20 years. I'm not an idiot. I'm sure I can pick up something. So they took a chance on me. I was the story producer of the show.
What does a story producer do?
Story producer basically comes up with the story concept, what the arc is.
Okay.
What's the beginning, middle, and end of the story for whatever that show is. Who are these people? What's the conflict? What's the resolution? Well, someone tells you that. It's a 3-act play. It's not anything. If you're creative, you can figure it out. I'm not belittling what a story producer. I'm talking at very basic levels. What a story producer is, you produce the story. Mm-hmm. So when you come up with what the story is, how do you produce it? Where should they go and film the scenes? Where should they go on location? Where should the first scene be to tell that story on camera? Anyways, got the job. Within 6 months, was promoted to associate producer of the series, and then within my first year, sold a series to a network. Cool. So my point is, it's manifestation. Like, I don't think if his name wasn't on my list, I would have met him. Mm-hmm. And it was met him because that meeting was canceled. So everything was like boom, 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 and that's been my whole life. My whole life is because I believe that, but then you also have to do the work. Yeah. Okay, so now the door opened, I got the job. So do the work, man, figure it out. Yeah. My late aunt used to tell me, there was one time I was almost fired. I worked as a graphic artist in advertising. I got my first promotion to be a production manager in advertising. And I was failing miserably at it, and I knew the writing was on the wall. And so he said to me, he called me in his office, the owner of the company, goes, listen, they gave you the promotion. I think I maybe should have never given you the promotion, because I don't think you can handle the job, but I want you to think about what you want to do. Meaning, he wanted me to quit because he didn't want to fire me because he was a good guy. Yeah. So I went back, I called my aunt, and she was in advertising. She actually was a big league in advertising. Anyways, she said to me, you go back on Monday, you tell him you're going to solve the problem. I said, what do you mean? She goes, you tell him you're going to solve the problem, and then you have to solve the fucking problem.
Don't just say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went back and I said, thought about what you said, I'm going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And I was with him for 5 more years.
What did you change after that inflection point?
I don't know what it changed. It's like you figure out what the problem is. The problem is I'm not picking up what's being laid down. Yeah. And so I got to figure out how to pick up what they lay down in front of me. It's like, okay, if I'm in charge of production, I need to know about schedule. I didn't know. I should figure out how to schedule things better. I should know how to do this.
Without them telling you.
Without them telling me. I should be like, okay, what is this job that I was hired to do? And then that was always my mantra. My mantra was always solve the problem.
Figure it out.
Even in television, solve the problem. Oh, we're doing a show. We're doing a luxury show about houses, and it's raining outside. What do? I don't know, solve the problem. I can't get rid of the rain, but we'll address it, or we'll go out, or we'll put rain, whatever, solve it.
You need 2 chairs to try and figure out to do the last scene in a place where all you have are wooden back chairs.
Solve the problem. Solve the problem.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
And I think that's life in general. Solve the problem.
Yeah.
If you don't solve the problem, you're going to always have the problem.
And you're going to miss out on opportunities because the people that you met that are happy to give you opportunities also don't have the time, probably more so even in the TV industry, to coddle you or walk you through that.
It's interesting. I've been told a lot of times people didn't like me because I felt I was too ambitious. And I'm like, okay. But no, I'd like to stay in this position for my entire life.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay in any position. Like, what's ambition? Like, do you want to be cleaning the floors your whole life, or would you like to at least do something else? So it's not ambition. It's not about lack of having ambition. You just want to better yourself in life.
Yeah. I think sometimes industry, this happens in the real estate industry all the time, the politics of it can give you a sour taste for that side of it, where you need to be
any job.
You got to
any
play
job.
100%. You have to be able to play in the ecosystem. But also the people that I find exceptionally successful, whether they're artists, musicians, directors, real estate agents, don't really play in that same pond. They're kind of just swimming out to blue oceans, trying new things. They're just showing out blinders on, as if it takes a little bit of crazy to be able to do that in a good way.
There's a maturity level, when we're younger, we get caught up in what people think of us. Yeah. And it's like, I was offended. People thought I was too ambitious. And part of me was like, well, listen, I don't care. That's all noise. Yeah. That's all noise, because I want to direct. So if I need to direct, I need to be ambitious, and I need to work up the ranks. Yeah. So you can say whatever you want. Yeah. So you got to be able to just filter out all the nonsense that people say about you, or because at the end of the day, I know who I am, and I'm true to myself and my core, and I'm a good person, and everyone else can,
I've never seen anybody talk ill of somebody else that they're doing better than, typically. So you find somebody who's very successful at something. Usually that person doesn't have any time to be berating all the people around them because they're focused on getting better at that thing, right?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
They're usually punching up. Is what I've noticed. And it took me a little while to figure that out too, where people can take advantage of my kindness sometimes, because I just assume everybody has the same intent until you realize they don't. How do you look at growing through an industry like you went through and maintaining great relationships, integrity, even if you have to be ambitious and grow
you never treat anybody how you don't want to be treated. It's very simple. Yeah. I don't want to treat someone like a jerk, because I don't want to be treated like a jerk. And a lot of times that's because you were treated as a jerk. If you're treated poorly in hye school, or you're treated there's some of us, like me, who was treated poorly in high school. I don't ever want to do that to anybody else. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. So that's about integrity.
And that synchronicity in your career ever come full circle with relationships previously that really became fruitful down the road for you as you were a director?
From public school or school?
No. Like going through the industry, right? Like meeting somebody when you were going through being the story producer, to the associate producer, to the different roles. I'm sure
every show you're on is a stepping stone to something else. Yeah. And because the industry is small, but it's also big, you end up crossing paths very often with people. It was so funny because when I won my award, I keep this on my phone just so people know. This is a picture of me winning Best Director Award, and I do that because when people on set start to direct, I just remind them.
That actually happened to me.
Yeah.
I said something like, "You're doing great," to the person next to me, and he just pulls out the phone and shows me that.
That's my job. When I got up for my thank you speech, the woman that gave me that first job as story producer was in the audience.
Amazing.
So I called her out in my speech.
That's incredible.
I thanked her. So that was kind of cool to have her there, because that's 20 years later. Yeah.
And she took a chance on you. When did you break into directing? Like after you became associate producer and all that?
I broke into directing when one day on a show I was producing, the director was sick. And we couldn't get somebody to fill in for the day.
Amazing.
And I did it. I was like, okay, this is fun. And then I said, okay, I directed, I think, only one day. And then I started to get jobs, and they were called producer-director jobs, where you were the showrunner, so you run the show, but that person also directed. So I started doing Colin and Justin's show, and I was the producer-director. And I love directing because I know what I'm going to get in the edit. Because as a showrunner, I oversee the show. So it's not a surprise when another director goes out and it's like, what, that wasn't what I was hoping to get, or why isn't their energy higher? And then I just started doing that, and I started getting calls just to direct. And then we met. I'm producing, directing on this one. I do both roles.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you talked about, that was such an interesting thing you taught me, was direct and shoot for the editor.
For the editor.
The people behind the scenes. So explain why that's important.
Okay, so the editor to me is one of the most, if not the most powerful person when making a film or television, because they can take someone like Justin and make him look good. And that's a lot of work.
I knew that was
Yeah. But the editor can do anything. The editor can take a film we can take a show about luxury cottages and make it into a horror film.
Yeah, it's true.
The editor can make it into a love story. The editor can make it into a comedy by the music they choose, by the type of rhythm they put in their cuts, by the type of expressions that they find. So it doesn't, the editor can take the lousy director's work and make the actor shine. So the editor is your best friend in a production. They're going to really elevate the film or the television show. So when you're directing, you have to direct to what the editor would need. What are the cuts they need and the tools they need to make this a really good scene? What makes it easier for them? If somebody says something and the words are all jumbled, then they correct themselves. I said, just say this, just say it this way. Then the editor doesn't have to go make 13 cuts to make it succinct. I have a succinct shot that they can use. But yeah, the editor is really important. So you have to think about, what does the editor need? Okay, we're doing a scene right now. Okay, so there's 2 cameras. So you got a single on me, you got a single on you. We've got this floating wide shot, 2 shot happening here. So the director now can pick up shots from you while I'm talking for expression.
So you can cut out if I'm wiping my forehead
right,
while you're
cut
talking.
It, and then you can cut to the wide. So for context, where are we sitting? We're sitting in a coffee shop. Okay, I get where we are now.
Shout out to Kate's Cafe.
Yes.
For some phenomenal coffee.
So there's just options. They always say editors always want options. My son is an editor.
So going back a few steps from story producer to let's tell a story, intersection of you've done huge productions to what we do on a day-to-day basis. I always think of the hero of my stories are the properties, and I'm presenting a very unique property, some type of conflict, and then some type of solution. I guess from a filmmaker's perspective, say you were putting yourself in my shoes.
I don't see the property as the hero.
No?
No, the property is your thread.
Interesting. What would be the hero if I'm selling a property and
The hero to me is the person you want to see win.
Which is the buyer watching the
Correct.
Maybe. Interesting.
The real estate agent is the co-star conduit, narrator maybe.
It's the guide, Yoda, to the Luke Skywalker, right?
Okay, don't oversell yourself, not Yoda. The editor is, this is a story about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they looking to buy a house. Mr. and Mrs. Smith are the stars.
Yeah.
Assisting Mr. and Mrs. Smith with this journey is Justin. Justin is the co-star or the narrator of it, or the conduit that's going to connect them to the right house. And then the thread are the houses they see.
Interesting.
And the last house is the final act.
And the conflict at each property is the things that would prevent that house.
The conflict are the stakes. You want something, if it's a drama, there's stakes, or if it's a comedy, what are the stakes here? The stakes are they got the right house and they signed all the deals and the financing didn't go through. Oh no, what are we going to do? Cut to commercial. So the house is never the star, because the house can change, or the house might fall through, or the house, they're going to see multiple houses.
Interesting.
The house is the end game, and the thread is the houses. That's always thread through all the acts.
So
the
just
property.
Case study for you.
Yeah.
Now let's pretend there's not multiple houses and there isn't an actual set of buyers with me.
Okay.
And I'm presenting a unique lakefront estate to the public. And the hero, the buyer,
so you're the exclusive agent for a property.
Exactly.
And you're trying to find...
And you're trying to storytell, right? The asset to a giant audience of people to find the right buyer. So are you speaking to the people watching as if they are the hero? Or are you presenting the property in such a light where it's the hero? Would be my question.
Well, that's an interesting spin on it.
Yeah. Because that's how we think. So when I'm reverse engineering...
Well, I think as a realtor... If the realtor, let's say, is the producer of the film or the showrunner in this situation, I don't know. I always go to the human as the star. That's just me.
The human that is physically in the
I always do the human, because that's the person that you are
a viewer who's watching you do something is relating to, is understanding. A house at the end of the day is mortar and brick and wood. It's a house.
Yeah.
It only becomes a home when someone moves into it. Like, you get what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Right now, you're selling a product, and the product is this amazing lakefront property. It's $13 million. It's 10 bedrooms, but that's the product.
Yeah.
You're selling the product. Then all these people, you're going to think about how does that product connect with their heart. Never mind their
And
wallet.
they're going to connect with a human, not organic
Connect with a
material.
human, right? And then once they get that product then changes from a house to a home. So it transforms. So I still think it's the journey of the person. It's, in this case, maybe if you're doing it that way, you might be the star of it because you're out there, you want to find, you're the matchmaker, let's just call it that.
Sure.
You're the matchmaker, wanting to find the perfect match between buyer and this property.
And they need to see themselves probably
Correct.
in
So
you going through the property.
So this
right?
might be a thing where the product is still the threat.
Yeah.
You become the star, and all of the different people that you go to show the house to are the co-stars along the way.
Interesting.
I just think for movies, unless they're inanimate objects cannot be the star.
Any movies that there were inanimate objects that were the star? Wilson, the football? No, that
No, he was
Tom
just a
Hanks,
co-star.
he was the
And
star.
you
He's
know
a
that
co-star.
Wilson, I saw a meme the other day that Wilson was the same actor that played in the volleyball scene in Top Gun.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That his
That's
first
so
his
silly.
first movie was
That's
that.
so silly.
Yeah, I just read that. No, but any movie, any TV show, like even in the show we worked on, it's I always am very people driven, that our buyers are just regular Joes who are coming to buy a house or see some lakefront homes, but I want the audience to really like them in the first 2 minutes of our episode. Because if you don't like them, you're not going to follow it like anything. Like when you see a movie, I may hate the people in the first 3 minutes of the movie. I don't like this guy, he's mean, but I understand where he's coming from and I want to see where the journey takes me. So you got to hook the audience onto the people they're following for the next half an hour to 3 hours to miniseries to series.
Have you watched Mobland?
Yes.
What they did with Harry at the beginning, you just can't help but wonder, like, who is this guy
Right.
and how does he operate,
Right.
regardless of if you like or
Mobland is a
does.
great thing. Is a great series about like following humans.
Yeah.
They're horrible people.
Yeah.
But you can't not watch
Sopranos
it.
did the same thing.
Sopranos
too, right?
did the same
they hooked
thing.
you in immediately with
We're
a world
watching.
that.
Look, we're watching Landman.
Yeah.
Do I know about oil? No. Am I a fan of Billy Bob Thornton's work? No. Like it's not like I'm a fan of his.
100%.
Does my wife watching stuff in Montana or Texas, wherever they were? No.
Yeah.
But we're watching because we were hooked because the
stories.
and the characters. Like we want to find out more. And as every episode goes, you peel back the onion. Oh, he's got an ex-wife. Oh, he's got a daughter. Oh, he's got like all of a sudden stuff.
And they introduce new characters.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah, and
right.
I think why I was so curious to talk to you is, again, like usually because of the nature of what we do, we're going to a property for a restricted period of time. It's us and the property.
Yes.
And the odd time we can bring in extra actors and
Yes.
extra people too, but we're trying to tell that story. I guess sometimes now I'm going to think of ourselves as a surrogate, where I'm like, I basically need to tell the people watching how it relates to them through our journey through the properties.
Right.
To create that, again, conduit.
Yes.
And I think I push back against wanting to be the star because the celebritization of my industry makes me want to vomit in my mouth.
Well,
right?
yeah, you've got everybody on Instagram. First of all,
Let's go.
I met a guy years ago. This is before Instagram, and sorry, I'm getting old. I turn 60 next week. So, anyways, big party. Yeah. In my time, no one had Instagram. In my day, they were on benches.
Yep.
Bus benches. So we were at a party. I must have been in my 20s, and met the guy, and it was a cousin, and he was a realtor, and he had his face on the bench. And my friend goes, "Have you met so and so before?" I said, "No, but my wife sat on your face." I told him. I said, "I think my wife sat on your face a couple times." And he looked at me. I go, "Because of the bench, you know." Anyways, I never understood why realtors have faces out there. Anyways,
I one of the only.
I would like my doctor to have their face out on the. Because that's someone I need to like. Yes, I'm trusting realtors with a lot of money, but I'm also trusting a doctor with my health. Why are doctors don't have pictures of them on there?
Yeah.
You have realtors, and then the realtors get a bad rap because their faces are out there, as are accident lawyers, lawyers to sue you. Those are the people that show their faces.
Pretty much.
Those two.
Go drive any highway in the States, and that's all you're going to see.
Those two. And then you have the realtors who do they do their videos now, and they come out and they go, welcome to 123 Willow Way. Let me show you this amazing house. And then you go and never see this realtor again. It's like, that's all you do? Yeah. You come out and do an intro to the house? I would rather see the realtor inside the house showing me that they know their stuff. Yeah. Because so many realtors who I've worked with on television don't know anything. I have to tell them about that's tumbled marble on the backsplash of the kitchen, and they go to me, is this quartz or is this quartz or granite? I'm like, seriously, you didn't me tell you? You're the realtor.
I had a call today from a guy that owns a beautiful property, and he's a consumer. Mm-hmm. And he called me to ask how the luxury market was, because he knows I'm active in the luxury market. Yeah. We had a great 20-minute conversation. Yeah. Found out he's a developer, does some other stuff. Yeah. And at the end of the conversation, he's like, oh, thanks for taking the time. And I laughed. I said, I wish 80% more agents do what you just did. Like, I wish they would make up the effort to call, like, other agents in the industry don't even do what he did today, right? In the luxury market, just to say, what's your beat on new construction? What are you seeing in new development, to advise their clients? The knowledge and the skill gap is so massive. I think that's my issue with the celebritization of the agent, as much as I have to do it as part of my career now, because brand matters, reach matters, and we do try to tactfully use it to amplify our clients' properties. It actually matters more to me to be seen as an operator or a black belt at my actual craft than it does how many followers I have.
It would suit you better to do that, because every realtor now is just about their brand and not about their knowledge.
For sure. Yeah. And they also don't translate the following in anything tangible, right? So like, if you have an audience, I always tell our crew, like, okay, find out who's looking for new development, find out who's looking for firms and who the investors are. Let's segment all of that data into a mail list. And if I have an off-market apartment building, just send it to the investors. Yeah. If I have a farm, send it to the farmers. Like, turn it into something real, right?
Otherwise, you're just getting likes.
Yeah. And people become slaves to the algorithms and the apps and create lives for themselves and caricatures of themselves that they sell to the world, and then they're miserable on the inside, which I'm sure in Hollywood you'd probably see people that go down a path and wish they could pull it back to become something different.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about the work. Yeah. You got to do the work to be successful. You can't just do posts on Instagram and hope that, it's like, just because you went to the dance doesn't mean people are going to ask you, like, you're going to, like, what? That's not a good analogy. I was thinking of a really good analogy, and I thought, oh no, it went kind of this way. But you got to do the work. You can't just sit there and, like, I believe very much in manifestation, but manifestation plus work equals success. Instagram plus, post on Instagram plus work equals success. You can't just post shit and think, build it, they will come. It's not true. It's not, you'll get the audience, but you're not going to get anything tangible out of it.
Well, I think, like, when I hear your views on manifestation, I think what you focus on expands. And if you write those things down and you focus on that, you're going to see the opportunities you wouldn't have seen otherwise. You're going to tell me about things you're interested in, and then maybe I'm going to link you up with somebody that I know by proximity, and it all happens, versus you wake up every day and you're a slave to other people's requests for your time, and you never move your life forward because you're just in response mode. Dopamine hits, emails, Instagrams, and you constantly are trying to look for other people's validation. When in reality, you're like, no, this is what I want to do. What do I have to learn? Who do I have to know? Right. And what do I have to do every day in order to get closer to that?
Listen, when you're in a creative industry, whether it be advertising or television, whatever, or whether you're self-employed, such as real estate, or being a hairdresser or whatever, you're renting a chair, you're going to have this throughout your life. You're going to have that, oh, I had a great month, that dropped, or I'm going to have a great year, it went down a bit. That's what it is, right? But long-term success, everyone's thinking about the valley they're in now. But if you don't know how to work, and you don't know how to chase jobs, and you don't know how to I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think what I'm trying to say is you still have to know how to go be a hustler. I'm sorry.
You got to earn it.
You got to earn it, but you have to hustle. I can have all the skill sets in the world. Look, I've won an award. I've done shows on Bravo and CNN and HGTV and A&E and TLC and
We'll talk about your podcast in a bit as well, too. Yeah. I learned.
Okay, so I've done all of these, but you know what? After my contract ends on a show, guess what I do? Hi, I'm free now. Do you have a show for me? Hang up. My son does edits. He edits for Steven Spielberg and Ron Howard and all these other people. And guess what he does after? Picks up the phone. You still have to do the work.
Dude,
and if you don't think you have to do the work, then you're an idiot, and I wouldn't hire you. because you don't think you should do the work.
The parallels in our industries are exactly the same.
You have to, and I know hustle is a crass word, but it is what it is. If you don't have the hustle, if you don't have the drive in life, in general, you'll never be successful. And the other thing too is, there's 300 roads that you can take to get to your end goal, and no one knows what's the shortest road, and no one knows what the best road is. But you got to keep going on all the roads, because all the roads are going to take you at least a step forward to somewhere. They're going to take you a little bit further than you were before.
I think each road too, like I didn't know what I wanted to do until I did the work. Like,
Right.
The work
Right.
enabled me to find out who I really am. I was talking to one of my favorite agents today on my team, and we were talking about how much we want to avoid becoming a boiler room or sales office.
Right.
And it's not about the numbers. It's about creating impact with the people that we work with, because we can make money doing real estate transactions, but we become wealthy through our relationships.
Because the relationship will come back.
And the relationship will come back, or the opportunities you get through the relationship are more than you'll ever have in your life, right? And like Kate's a good example of that, where she was very kind to me over the last 10 years. Anytime I'd be in the area, I would share her cafe on our social media, and it's an indication of how she treated people as she was coming up. And I think that's, going back to what you said earlier, the word hustle only has a negative connotation if you're trying to scam people, or it's
If
no
you're a
different than
jealous
drive.
person, it has a negative connotation because
sure.
you think that everyone's out for the money. It's not. Let's be honest. I worked with you 2 weeks ago. This is what I liked about you. You contacted our company and you said you saw the show and you said, "Hey, I would love to be on this show. I see it's a good opportunity to get my company's name out there and to show what I do."
Sure.
Great. Representing the homes that you sell. So you made that, and I was impressed by that because I thought, well, here's a guy who says, "Oh, here's an opportunity that I think would be good for me. Let me chase it and see what happens."
Sure.
So then something happened. I saw who you were. I looked you up. I said, call him, do whatever. You said, "Okay, now deliver some homes for us." You know, which you did. Done. So
That was
then
the process.
Yeah, it's a process.
It
But
was
then when
fun.
I was on the set with you, the reason why we're sitting here today is I called you after, and I said, I want to continue. I said, let's go out for dinner one night because you reminded me of a younger me because you're very smart.
I don't know about that, but
No, but I'm saying you remind me of a younger me. Like, I don't know how old.
curious.
How old are you?
43.
Okay, so when I was 43, I'm in that stage of life where I know what the stage of life you're in.
I'm the story producer.
Right, but I know this. No, but I know the stage of life you're in right now,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So, I was like, okay. I said, let's go next time I'm out. Let's go have dinner. And then you said, why don't you do my podcast? I said, okay, I'd love to do that. So I was reaching out to you because it was a networking, and it's not about will I get wealthy by meeting you, or will I get a house by meeting you, or will I make some money? No, it was about, okay, let's just talk and talk about shit.
Yeah.
That's all. And that in and of itself is worth something, which people don't understand.
Even if then people don't get that. It's
People don't get that.
long term.
People
right?
just meet people and they think, what can I get out of you right now?
Yeah. And you can smell that.
You can smell.
too.
Yeah, you can smell that.
Yeah.
And I don't like those people.
How do you filter that in the industry that you're in when people want to get close to you just because of what you've accomplished versus
This
who you
happens
are?
I can't tell you how many private messages I get from people
Yeah.
who look me up, they find out what I do. And like, listen, I'm not the biggest out there.
Sure.
I'm not the best out there. I'm good at what I do. I know that. I've had a nice career. I'm blessed with the career I've had. But it's like, you just know. You just know when somebody says, I need some advice. And then you give them the advice, and then they fight you on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want me to just tell you what you want to hear, then just preface it and tell me, because we can save ourselves a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
I get people telling me, can you get me into the lounge at Air Canada Airport? Can you get me into the Maple Leaf Lounge?
That's amazing.
Can you get me backstage passes at American Idol? I've had that. Can you get me... There was something recent, I can't remember what it was, but it was the stupidest request. And I'm like, even if I could, why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I would do that, I'd do it to myself first before I do the stranger on Facebook who reached out to me.
People are very interesting. I've just seen this over
People
the
are
years
crazy.
too, where you said one thing there that I'll highlight, where whenever I've gotten around people that have accomplished things and have a track record, I watch them give advice to hundreds of people, and I watch like 3 people actually take action, and then I see those 3 people show up again, execute, ask another group of questions, they disappear, and then they come back 6 months or a year later. And then a year later, I see that those people have direct access and the phone numbers of those people, and I've built a relationship with them, not because they paid them, not because they wanted something from them, but simply because they executed. And it's probably, if you go through
Yeah,
100
yeah,
directors, 100
yeah.
top tier editors, 100 real
Yeah.
estate agents, whatever, the top people just executed where everybody else didn't. They showed up to go to work. It's everything you're saying. They just executed. Maybe it wasn't perfect and it wasn't the right execution, but the effort usually gets rewarded, not the entitlement of,
No.
hey, I was on a
Yeah.
show with you. You need to get me tickets to your next event because we know each other because of X, Y, Z, right? You have to hustle and you have to earn the actual opportunity.
I find it's interesting too in my industry. Yeah, people just reach out to me all the time for favors.
Yeah. I'm gonna message you and be like, hey, get me in the Air Canada Lounge next
No,
week
Aaron,
just for fun.
But it was just like, why? Like,
That's a
I
person.
earned my position in this industry by working hard. It's like I should go to somebody who's a great hairstylist and say, hey, I hear you can I get a free haircut? Like, why would you don't owe me anything?
Dude,
You don't owe me anything.
it's funny you say that because I saw a celebrity do that to a very well-known barber in
Yeah.
the GTA area that
Yeah.
had a huge platform in the DMs and the entitlement. And he literally just shared it, did a little screen recorder, and it was like it exposed who that
Hey, listen, if
person
you do my
was,
haircut, I'll
right?
post on my social media and you'll get all this free. Yeah.
And the guy's like, I'm a great barber. Like, I don't have
I
to
don't
put
need
up
you.
with this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think that there's something to that these days where that's getting exposed through and through. And it's like the opposite is true as well, where somebody that's incredibly talented, I've seen people do things for people they'll never get credit for.
No.
Just because they saw how that person treated the server or the people around
The
them,
server,
and
they
pay it
get a lot of
forward, right?
celebrities who, yeah, let's just say, money and fame plays in your head a bit.
Do you think it exposes more of who you are?
I think money makes you more of who you were.
Yeah.
If you're a selfish person, you fall into a lot of money, you become more selfish with the money.
How do you think somebody can avoid that?
Well, educating themselves, like me being, I don't know, avoiding what? Avoiding being
Like, have
becoming
you ever
worse?
seen somebody going down that path and get corrected by like people around them or mentors, or because I'm sure people fall into patterns. And how do you save somebody from
You
going down
can't
that
because
path?
you
Yeah.
can't. You can't because it's like anything. The person's addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
You tell them you need help. They're not going to listen to you because they don't want the help.
Yeah. Until it's interesting.
Until somebody is open to saying, I'm open to being critiqued, or I'm open to being a better person. With people who are very, very philanthropic, who win a lottery, are more philanthropic. People who are selfish and win a lottery just want to show off all the fancy cars they got.
They're looking for validation.
And then when they finally blow all the money they won, and then they want help, that's the time they maybe say, hey, you need to wake up, and you were a bit of an ass.
Yeah. Which is actually the best thing ever. Like finding people who will tell you what they think versus what they think you want to hear
Right.
is the best
But that's
thing
who
ever.
you choose who to surround yourself with too, right?
Yeah.
You want to surround people who make you a better person. You want to surround people who elevate you, who call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's three, we're talking about creative. I think in life there's three things to be successful in life. And it is your heart, your soul, and your mind. And that's it. So you got to think about what fills your heart, what fills your soul, what fills your mind. Sorry, and your pocket. That's the other thing.
Well, I think if you
Four
do the
things.
first three, your
Four
pocket
things.
will
Like
be
to
filled,
me,
yeah.
my heart is my family.
Yeah.
My soul is my creativity, being able to do what I like to do creatively. And then my mind, which is kind of my pocket, is investments and being smart with investment in real estate. And that's kind of, I made a nice living in television. Didn't make a portfolio from it. I was smart with that.
People I know in logistics, automotive, creative work, even agents themselves, the ones that usually found success, found it actually long-term buy and holds in properties that they bought in areas that nobody wanted to buy in before they were cool. They just worked really hard, boring, the math worked, and they added value to it. That sounds like something you've done over the years.
Yeah, the math, you have to do the math.
Yeah.
The math has to work, number one, for investments.
Let's hop in the car and we'll talk about real estate investing.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's some fun stuff for what he does.
So this is Goderich, where we're driving through.
Yeah. Yeah, so Huron County and South Huron runs, it's a huge area, like Clinton, Seaforth, South Huron, Bayfield's technically Huron County. They're all part of the same county per se.
And a lot of these homes, they're older homes, aren't
Very
they?
much. This is a very much historical village, as is Bayfield. Bayfield, when you go to it,
it's beautiful. Like there's some places that have been there for hundreds of years.
Yeah, these homes are really, and they're kept nice. Like
Yeah.
the people living them seem to.
They maintain them
Yeah,
as like the
word I was
charm of the
thinking,
town, right?
maintain. So this is the mine close-up. This is the salt.
These are the shipping
Shipping
rigs on both sides, so you'll see huge.
So
boats
they
down
fill
here.
these up with salt.
Yes.
And then they come out through here and go on the brigs to be shipped.
Exactly.
Can you imagine these jobs?
Crazy.
This is where I go. My job is so, what is the word? Insignificant. Like,
Yeah, I'll go
my
Mark
job
Kaplan.
is to make people watch something on TV, and these people help your life get better. It's a hard job.
All of these people have stories too.
Look how many people are on the beach.
This is where everybody is. This is why nobody was on the square. It's 35 degrees outside, and
I didn't realize there's a whole beach here.
yeah, nice view. Temperature's cooling down a little bit. It was.
Were we going to
25
talk
at one
real
point.
estate?
Yeah.
What were you want to talk about?
So we're going to talk real estate. We're going to talk your podcast.
Oh.
So where's your head at with real estate now?
I'm at the stage where I've invested now for 20 years, and I'm kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I can't say I'm ever going to be done. I have a really nice portfolio that I think everyone in real estate who invests needs a really good mentor, and they need a really good team.
Yep.
And until they have that really good team, they can't be successful.
Sure.
You need a really good accountant, you need a really good lawyer, you need a really good real estate agent who also is an investor.
Yep.
You cannot have I'm sorry, but you cannot have a real estate agent who doesn't sell you an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe you will disagree with me.
No, they need to understand why you're investing, the math behind it, and they also have to be ethical, so they're not sniping deals from you.
Of course, no, but I think when I started, I was like, I don't even know how I started. I went to donut shops on my own because none of my friends invested.
Sure.
Nobody invested in real estate, and I really thought that was the way to go because my job, I don't work for a company where I get a pension.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed.
Sure.
Where am I getting? What's my retirement plan? And so I started reading books, and I was reading, and then I decided, okay, I'm reading so much. Why am I not pulling the trigger on this already? But then I found my first realtor that I had. I told them I want to just get cheap houses because that's the ones that would help me. The rent would cover.
Sure.
And-
The 1% rule, right?
Well, I don't even know it was a 1% rule. I said I need a house where the rent would cover it. So that they did is they sold me they found cheap houses for me. What they should have been telling me is you're not going to get a quality tenant in this area.
So your
They weren't
vacancy and
good.
bad
They
debt
weren't
are
good.
massive, right?
They
Yeah.
weren't good. So I had these horrible tenants.
Yeah.
Because they were
Just cheap property.
cheap properties, right? And with the areas, that's why they were cheap, because the area wasn't great. But that's what I mean about having a good team.
Yeah.
They were there just to sell me a house, they weren't telling me this isn't a good one to buy.
You'll see both ends of the spectrum. I'll tell people, you pay the highest price, you get the best house, in the best neighborhood, absolutely turnkey, negative cash flow.
Right.
Because it's the best of the best. You go to the absolute worst neighborhood with the worst house, your cash flow on paper is
Cash
going to
flow.
look amazing,
Yeah,
but your vacancy and
your
bad debt's going to be 30
or your
to
headache's
50%,
going to
right?
be. So I ended up selling the first couple ones I got.
Yeah.
Got a different team. Started again educating myself a bit more or
Yeah.
whatever. Blah blah. It was tough because I didn't have a lot of money and I was using all of my line of credit just
Sure.
to buy these, and I felt, what am I doing? And my spouse wasn't on board, and it was, let's just say that wasn't good because what are you doing with our money and whatever.
Of
So
course.
anyways, this is nice. This was like I was gonna say Malibu, but maybe I'm overselling. It's very pretty, but no, it's not Malibu. Just this one part,
Yeah.
because I saw the bit of the bluffs
I know.
there.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this, Huron?
This is still Huron County. Yeah, this is Goddard.
No, is this Lake Huron?
Lake Huron.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Yeah, they did a nice job. But this is the Rotary
That's
Trail.
really
so it
nice,
goes
yeah.
all the way down. Dog park back there.
Anyway, so I found the right team. And then what happened was when I was doing it for about 11, 12 years, I kind of settled on I had X number of properties.
Yeah.
And I went to my
accountant and I said, okay, I'm at this age, I'm thinking about retiring in the next 10 years. And then he said, well, why are you not increasing your portfolio? You have way too much equity sitting. So
In
I
the
bought these
properties.
properties and they were sitting for 10 years, just paying down,
Yeah.
paying down, value goes up, pay down, value goes up. And then it was just equity. And he goes, you should be doing way more than what you did. And
course.
so then, so when I had the epiphany, it was the epiphany of, when you've built up equity, do something with the equity you've built up. But also when I realized that my portfolio isn't about retirement, it's a business.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of went, oh, this isn't about just the savings, it's a business. And right now my business is, you know, you have a restaurant, you've collected a lot of
Flush
nice
with cash.
tables,
Yeah.
and you should be selling those tables.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything with it. So we kicked it up a notch, and I started to get in. I was always doing single family houses, and then I kicked it up and I went into I bought a triplex, and then I converted two of the houses into legal duplexes, and then I bought a house that was a single family home but was zoned up to sixplex.
Oh, cool.
And the house had a full-size attic. So I was able to make it into a fourplex, this
that's
house. And that was my last big one. And then I was doing the Burr method a lot. Do you know the Burr method?
Yep. Yeah, you buy, you renovate it, you rent it, and then you refinance
Finance it and repeat
out,
and repeat.
Yeah.
I found that, to me, worked the best.
Yeah.
So to your point, what's going on now, it's very hard to do the Burr method.
Of course. Okay.
Because the value of homes are too high,
For sure.
and unless you find a murder that took place in a house that is a former squatting crack house, and it's $200,000 and it's worth $1 million, and you can put $300-400 into it and still make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
The gap, the range isn't there to make the money in a lot of the renovation refinance. So I'm sort of at this thing where I've got this portfolio sitting. I'm happy with it. So right now I have a portfolio. It's a matter of when am I going to start cashing them out.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense.
And saying, here, government, here's all my money
Capital
I've
gains.
made,
Oh, dear God.
which pisses me off
Yeah.
because if you won the lottery, won $2 million, you
have
got
to keep it all.
pay the government. You didn't work for that. You didn't put any blood, sweat, and tears into your lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, if you take risks in life and you're putting your house up as equity, or you're taking out lines of credit,
Yeah.
and you're taking punches to the stomachs because of bad tenants or evictions and all the nonsense that comes sometimes with being a landlord or owning rentals, and then the government wants, to tax you on 50% of you gained.
50% of it.
50% of it. It's like, that's hard work.
Well, imagine if the market
work for
correct.
that.
And what if the market's correct? Are they going to turn around and give you that money
Are they
back?
going to give me money back? No, they're not.
Definitely not.
So that's what pisses me off. So sometimes I just want to see how long I can live off cash flow without having to sell them.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to sell them and give the government that much money on work that I put in. It's not. Didn't get a windfall. It's 21 years of work.
Yeah.
That's what really upsets me.
Yeah. I think it's looking at.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
No, definitely not. I think for us, what we've seen is it's always just looking at opportunity zones, right? Looking for where are the opportunities in the marketplace today that people aren't going to. Everybody's kind of doing the same thing, and looking at what you have in terms of tools at your disposal. You now have knowledge, you have equity,
Right.
and you have a group of people, relationships that you've built over time. It's about looking at, mortgages are.
Yes.
I believe that part.
Listen, bottom line is this. If you want to be an investor, there's one thing you look at and there's one thing you don't look at. You look at the math only.
Yeah.
You look at the math.
Yeah.
Does the numbers make sense? And what don't you look at? Emotion. Do not get emotional about it. Oh, I love this house. It's so pretty.
Well, I guess if you want to start something based off emotion, you can start a podcast and write letters to people that are in jail. There's that possibility as well.
I don't know what kind of an idiot would write letters to notorious criminals in jail and say, write me back, please. Can you please write me back? And then they do.
So let me ask you a question. What is the name of your podcast and why did you start it and how's it going?
So my podcast is called Prison Sentences. So it's a play on a prison sentence and the fact that I wrote them letters. So there's sentences in the letters.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that? That's the whole point.
Said it.
Prison sentences. I wrote these. The idea was that, truth be told, I've drawn celebrity caricatures for 40 years and they've been published for years. And I started to send or meet the celebrity that I drew and had them sign it for me.
Amazing.
And it got to the point where I have like 15,000 signed stuff.
Amazing.
And then I thought, okay. And then in that, I realized I wrote to Charles Manson years ago and I wrote to John Gotti the mob boss, and I did their caricature, and I sent it to them, and they wrote me back. And then and every time people come to my house, they go, "Can I see that? Is it true you have a Charles Manson signed caricature?" I go, "Yes." So I show them that, and I go, "Why so people interested in the criminal? They don't want to see my Julia Roberts one or the Quentin Tarantino I have or all of those, but they want to see that." So then I thought, well, what if I do something with prisoners? And when you're creative, you always look at doing something creative.
Yeah.
So I thought, what if I just start sending caricatures to criminals and having them sign it? And my son said, "Why don't you just do a podcast?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Just do a podcast, write letters to them." So I said, that's not a bad idea. So each episode's only 5 to 9 minutes long. And I just do a encapsulated little talk about what these people's crime is. I read the letter I wrote to them, and then I read the letter they wrote me back. And then it's done with a lot of humor, and I don't make fun of the crime, and I don't make fun of the victims. I only make fun of the criminal and my bad dad humor. But the funny thing is, this one's a true, if you build it, they will come type of thing.
For sure.
I did it just because I'm bored. I want to do a podcast. I wanted to do something quirky. Thousands and thousands of downloads later, I finished season 2. I'm going into season 3 next year.
Incredible.
I got, each season's 20 episodes, and it's like stupid. And I've got thousands.
And how is the public receiving it? The people that are
I guess
listening.
they like it.
Yeah.
I have the stats every day, and I looked at I got 25 people listening to it today. Like, I don't know, people are finding it.
That's
they
awesome.
listen to it.
What do the letters say? Like, what type of stuff are you writing?
I write. First of all, I don't write anything about the crime.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't say, "Hey, when you strangled those people," I write them like, "Oh, I read that this person." Oh, for example, what's his face? Jared Fogle, Subway.
Okay.
You know the Subway guy?
Yeah.
So his crime was like child pornography stuff,
Yeah.
you know, which isn't. I don't want to touch that.
Terrible.
Yeah, but he worked at Subway, or he did the Subway diet. So I just say to him, "Hey, I'm a man of a certain age, and I'm starting to gain weight in my midriff. I'm just wondering, like, what would you recommend to lose the weight in my belly? And what Subway sandwiches did you eat?" And he wrote me back, told me what to do and to exercise. But the first thing he said in his letter to me, which is in my podcast, he said, "How old are you?" He wanted to know my age, and I thought, I'm not comfortable with that. Meaning, like, because he's a pedophile.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I was like, really? You're gonna ask me my age? Anyways, but I asked people like Joe Exotic.
Oh, Lion King.
Tiger King. Yeah,
yeah.
Lion King. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Joe Exotic.
What did you ask him?
I said, "You're such an outrageous character." I said, "I'm wondering if you like cartoons, and if so, what are your favorite cartoon characters?"
And did he answer it?
Yeah, he likes Pepe Le Pew.
That's so random.
It's so random.
Yeah.
And then he told me to vote for him in 2024 because he was going to run for something. I don't know.
Man.
And then my wife said, you cannot have them mail the letters to the house. You cannot use your last name.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to say Marshall. Like, I wanted all there to say, "Hi, Marshall. How are you? Hi, Marshall." So I just got a P.O. box, and I changed my last name.
There you go.
And,
not a terrible idea. Your wife is actually a pretty smart woman.
Yeah, she is very
both
smart.
of those things.
But I have BTK. I have Charles Manson, obviously from years ago, but I've got 2 other Manson people. I've got BTK, Robert Pickton, Elizabeth Holmes, the Theranos woman. I've got Sunset Street Killers from the 60s. I don't know who I have. I've got 60, 70 people who've replied.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's people want connection. I think it's interesting that these people are in prison and replying so quickly to the letters.
I do get people who write me back and go, "I'm wondering why you're writing me.
Yeah.
Why would you write me?" And I'm like, okay. What am I? Whatever.
Interesting.
I don't care. I'm not going to tell them it's for a podcast.
No.
But the BTK one was really interesting because
That'd be
BTK
crazy.
is he worked at Coleman Camping Gear before he became BTK, and I wrote him and asked him what did he do at Coleman's, and did he ever go camping himself? And he wrote me a 3-page letter about his life before BTK and what he did, and then he. Oh, and there was a guy also he was a funeral director who killed somebody, and he married the widow and he killed her, and so I asked him, I was interested in getting into funeral business, and does he have any advice?
And did he have advice?
Yeah.
Of incredible.
And then there was another guy, he murdered people in his motorhome, and I told him I'm looking to get a camper. What should I buy?
You're really good at drawing people to speak. Like,
It's
as a
not
director,
that. It's just don't ask them about the crime.
Yeah.
Just Google them and see what they did for a living.
Everybody's gonna just ask them about the crime. What I'm
Right.
saying is, like,
I found an inn.
When you direct a show, I watched you do
Oh,
this
when I
last
direct,
time.
yeah.
There's a natural through line to what you're doing with that, like asking questions that to people about things that they did or they were passionate
Can I
about.
tell you,
whatever.
when you
People love
direct,
telling
right,
stories.
directing is about trust.
Yeah.
And you got to get someone to trust you on set because they don't know how you're going to have them portrayed.
Yeah. No,
So, especially like I've been very, very grateful, and I've interviewed a lot of celebrities, people that I loved growing up with, or just people that are big names. And it's a dance, and they came down to do an interview and tell me what they want to tell me.
Sure.
But I want to get what I need for the show.
Of course.
And it's a dance,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, how do I get them to lead? They want to do the tango, I want to do the cha-cha. I'll let them do the tango at the beginning. I'll try to tell them but then I'm going to dip them, and then I'm going to go into my dance.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they trust me and we have a great conversation. And yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting.
because interviews are very intimate, but celebrities all come with their own agenda.
Oh, for sure. And I think some of them may be scarred from previous interactions with people.
Of
that had
course.
different
They don't know how you're going
intentions
to edit the show. Even when you were coming on our show,
Oh,
right? You're like,
no clue.
This is how I kind of do my thing.
Yeah.
But then you have to trust me that the way I do it is going to be okay for you.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I knew a couple other people that were on the show, and I'd reached out to them about their experience.
And what did they say?
A variety
They said,
of
Marshall's
answers.
terrible.
No.
He's a tyrant.
It wasn't about
I think he drinks. But-
A lot of it, I mean, some of them were like, oh, you got to be, really careful because of how they're going to portray the client's properties, and some of them, because it's not always, when you're doing something like you're doing, it's not always going to be everything's amazing, right? Like if you're bringing a family with 10 children to a property that is 3 stories, well, guess what? That property's probably not going to
Right,
work
and
for
as
that
you
family.
know, it's just like I do in TV. You're never going to say that the property's terrible.
No.
It just doesn't work for
For
them.
that family,
And if it
right?
doesn't work
Yeah.
for the family, then you have to offer a solution.
Oh, of course.
How could it work for the family?
Of course. So like,
That's all.
And that's how I view things, because when I talk to my clients or I talk to people, I was like, oh, this is what it's going to be. I was able to set the expectation.
Right.
And the other person I spoke to gave me a very clear rundown on how the show runs and how it's done. And I was like, oh yeah. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. There's always 3 people's versions of the truth. There's the person on the one side, the person on the other, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Well, that's life.
And
there's 3 sides to every story.
to the interpretation of the person who's actually listening to it, right? So, want to go eat some food, Nico?
Let's do it.
I'm hungry.